Last season, up and down, roller coaster ride. So I've been around a long time, and it started off really difficult. I think it's just the changes that happened. So it's normal. There were some changes for the better and some for the worse, I guess. But that's with everything. I think the season was challenging from the outset.
The most chaotic season I'd ever been a part of. Obviously, so many changes from coaching, players. You know, the turnover was frightening.
Last season was definitely the steepest learning curve. Throw myself in the deep end with no armbands on, and we found out whether I could swim or not. So I learned a lot in a fairly short period of time. As head coach, there's some things I'd like to do differently that I'd like to implement this year. But at the same time, as whilst I was learning a lot, there was a lot of stuff already in place last season. So I'm really looking forward to this season to put my own stamp on things and not have to take over from someone else.
I've learned a lot in the last 14-15 months. It really has been a steep learning curve for me, and certainly I'll do things a little bit differently. If I was to go back and do it again, I probably would do the same things again, but I think I'd maybe do them in a slightly different way. But I've learned a lot in the last 12-14 months, and as we're in mid-season now and as we're starting the whole process of building for next season, slightly different approach to it.
The GB windows didn't help last season. The Commonwealth Games didn't help last season. So it all affected, I think, the end product that you saw on the court. Making the playoffs was great, and we had a pretty good playoff run, and it all sort of ended abruptly at home against a London team that I felt we were better than. So it was quite disappointing in that respect.
Our season was a success in terms of we played good basketball, but we're looking to do one better next year and win something.
I feel like we managed to achieve fairly solid results. You look back, I would have liked to have done some things different, and would have liked a couple of results to have gone the other way, but I feel like we did a fairly solid job steadying the ship after a fairly challenging season. I feel like it was almost like 3 different teams throughout the year, so you never really got to see the progression from day one all the way to the end of the season. So yeah, for me, in terms of development, last season was a disappointing year in terms of getting a team to where we possibly could have taken the talent we had.
It's putting the pieces together that allow us to put a competitive team on the court, which we've done for years. But that is now not good enough, and we know that. It's not good enough to just put a competitive team on, because we know how to do that. It's putting a team on that will win.
Get your recruitment right, then everything's a lot easier. So we're putting a lot of time, effort, energy into profiling the type of individuals that we want. Clearly their basketball ability and skills are at the forefront, but once we've satisfied ourselves that that's correct, it's really looking at the character of the person.
Gareth, myself, Dan, Duncan, we've done a lot of work trying to build the squad, thinking about what kind of fit we want for the team, kind of players. So especially Darryl and Gareth have been working really hard on making sure that we have a team that's going to compete in the BBL. So
recruitment for me is a new ball game, and I'd love to tell you that 100% confident exactly what we're going to do, but the way recruitment works in my experience so far is one day I'm excited and I'm happy with how things are going, and the next day I feel like I'm going home to cry in my bed. We've already signed Gareth, Kieran and Ali to return, so I guess the key thing for me is finding the system and structure and players that fit around that. So offensively, that would be, I think it's 5 years now the Rocks have been running the side ball screen Euro motion. So we're looking to obviously make tweaks to that, but that will still stay as our predominant offense. So.
Fraser inside, he will throw it down this time.
We've put together a strategy in place and a sort of a team ethos as to what kind of a player we want for each position, what kind of players we want next season, who do we want representing the Rocks badge. So we'll see.
We're really trying to push a high basketball IQ. We want to be one of the smartest teams in the league next season in terms of how we operate and what we do. So we're not looking for the guy who can come in and score 40 points a game, as crazy as that might sound. We're looking to have 7 or 8, 9, whatever that figure might be, really solid guys that can all contribute. We're looking to have a bunch of guys in double figures rather than just the one guy who can come in and score heavy, if you like.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited some of the additions we're looking to add. You know, we look at character plus their basketball IQ and basketball skill, and they've ticked the boxes so far. So we're just waiting to get some players in and get pre-season underway.
We signed our full roster for the 2018-19 season. It's always difficult throughout the off-season to try and find players that fit what we're looking for, but this year we did have a good structure in place and we have an idea of what we're after and what we want to achieve. Chris D'Souza we know really well, he come up through the Shell Twilight program, played in Leeds last year and he's coming to play for us this year, so that's great, rounds off our Scottish contingent.
Yeah, I think it was just important that we get some new energy into those positions in the squad. Chris obviously had some experience in Leeds last year, and because they had quite an up and down season, got some good experience and some good minutes there. Another guy that brings huge energy to the programme. Chris really wants to work on his game, he wants to get better, he's got massive desire to do that. And then Murray for us is just a young Scottish guy that's got huge potential in terms of his athleticism. It's going to be a tough year for him, but it's a really exciting opportunity to try and develop another core group of Scottish guys to come through and start trying to pad out that bottom side to help us when some of the guys decide to move on. So
our point guard Greg Pryor, who's coming just the other day, and he looks great, looks legit, very fit, ready to go.
Well, I think Greg brings an experienced head at the point guard spot. He's a solid shooter of the ball, he's really good in the mid-range, can get to the rim as well. So I think on the defensive end he's got the ability to really try and lock some guys up, and we already know that there's some really good point guards in the league and some teams have recruited really well in that area, so I think the biggest thing he's going to bring is the ability to try and lock some of the key guys up in the league.
Looks like he's got a great shot on him, and I actually expect a lot of things from him. He's going to be the general out there, and I do think that he's got the capabilities of being one of the best point guards in the league, if not the best.
Kenny brings us some really similar attributes to Greg. He's first of all got great length in the position he is, but he's really good in that mid-range pull-up. He's proven to be excellent in the pick and roll throughout his college career.
Again, very long guard, two guard that's 6'5", so he gives you that length across the board. It's sort of the way I guess basketball's going these days. It's players that can play all 5 positions, and that's what we're looking for this season.
Bo brings huge athleticism to the team. I think he's the type of guy that's going to be effective in the pick and roll and probably create some of the highlight reels, if you like. On the offensive end, I think he gives us huge energy and excitement. I think he'll be one of the fan favourites, if I'm honest.
Who's coming in from Norway, again really explosive and athletic, and we've really gone for length this season. Another 6'6" guard, but again he can jump, he can run, he can sort of do everything. A few things that we lacked last season, I think. So the athleticism is definitely there.
I think Boona can bring us some real sort of scoring power, if you like. Can come on a game and hit 2 or 3 threes really quickly, attack, get a quick, easy look at the rim. But for me, he just brings a spark that could come off the bench and change a game instantly. I think we want to try and really mix it up this year. Try and dictate the tempo a little bit more and try and slow some teams down and upset some rhythm with that. So, like I said, we'll see how they look in the first couple of weeks of pre-season. Once we've got them on the floor, we'll have a better idea exactly what we're going to do on defence and offence. But just now, I definitely see us looking like that.